Hey everybody, this is Allison from Alleycat Creations. How are you? Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you have yet to do so. And if you get anything from my work, a connect the dot, an epiphany, a mind explosion, a new book to read, a new author to explore, please consider supporting my work. All the links are at the bottom of the description below this video. And if you get anything and you want something in return besides knowledge and my rantings, I have skulls, business card holders with gems inside. I can put anything in there, and it's frosted. Just the way the mold comes out. Pyramids, hearts, artwork behind me, oil paintings. I do customized drawings. Someone just gave me a really cool idea. I have to float around for some stuff. AlleyCatCreations211.com. You can email me if you're interested in anything or you want to discuss something. Also, and look, I'm working, so my time is limited, but I do read my emails. I will get back to you eventually. Please email me if you need anything or you need to discuss stuff. Just know though that my time is limited. It's been crazy town. So yeah, spiritual soul advice. Hi guys. Before I get into I know I look exhausted and all frazzled today. I am very frazzled, and Starbucks because someone gave me a gift card and I need caffeine. So the life of a paraprofessional in Indiana. I have yet to get paid, and I've been working since August 14th. So it's been bananas. And my teacher just started, and I started with my children that I'm taking care of the 26th of August. Nothing was done, prepared, and it was just thrown together. Valiant efforts have been made, and the children are getting service and doing what what we're supposed to be doing, but it's a blank slate, barely anything in the classroom. And in Indiana, the teachers buy everything, which is not good because my teacher just started and the room has yet to be filled with things that will help the children. And I don't even know if she knows what she's doing because I've been carrying the front load. So I'm going to ask my friends that watch me, and this is only if you have things that your children do not need anymore. I'm not asking for new. I'm not asking for money donations. As much as that is great, I rather be recycling things that people need to get rid of. Stuff like this. It changes color. These things are great to calm children. And I'm talking about 2, 3, and 4-year-olds. The little kids, they want to put everything in their mouths. You got to realize these kids are autistic. These kids look like that half the day. If you have any like Play-Doh, fidgets that your kids are not using, this is I just went to Five Below because I was looking for Halloween's here, and the teacher also has to provide the snack. The school does not. So goldfish and Cheez-Its, stuff like that. But stuff like this, I think, is distraction for older kids, but for younger kids, this helps them calm down. Whatever this, it's falling apart already. These are really cool. If you have any fidgets that your child is not using, if you have autistic children or kids that just need busybody stuff and you're not using it anymore, please give me an email. Let me know if you can donate some stuff to my classroom. It's not my classroom, but it is in some crazy way. Because trust me, there are not enough of these that I can print out. Like, quiet. I'm working with kids that can't talk. They have very little speech, and they need a lot of visuals, and they need a lot of calming tools. And I'm not financially in the place to be providing these things, which sucks. So if anybody has anything in their house that you're not using that could be a benefit to my classroom, I would really appreciate if you reach out to me, let me know what it is and what condition it's in. Anything at this point. We have plenty of toys that, but I need fidgets. I have poppets. Fidget spinners are a little too advanced for these kids, and they're dangerous if they throw them. These kids are throwers, biters. Yeah, I have a workout. I lost a couple of pounds lifting kids. So yeah, any of that stuff would be very helpful, and I thank you guys if you do send me anything. Reach out, please. It's just a donation. I'm not looking for, you know, I need financial funds for bills, not for the classroom. But I took I did a dog portrait, and I took some of that money to buy kids snacks and fidgets. So my life can be a little easier. So today is 9/11. Never forget. This shirt actually was sent to me by JQ very long time ago. And I am wearing kind of like a dressy vest because I look very militaristic today. I have my side piece on, and this is Tower 1, the North Tower. This is the South Tower. Over here, I have the times of everything, and then the count of how many people passed away on Staten Island, which was a lot, comparatively. So I wore this today, and I'm not happy. Not that I was happy when it happened, because I was in the city. I was on 21st Street, 2nd Avenue, going into my drawing class. I know all my drawing friends and SVA alumni who was there with me that day. It was nerve-wracking. We saw it happen. So if you can equate, I don't know, a lot of people aren't from New York. So where I was in between the Empire State Building, and then the Twin Towers are here. So I saw it from behind, from the back. I was in the middle of the city. Not really the middle. It's like, it's close enough. You can see everything in between. I'm like Gramercy Park, Chelsea area. We're in the ABCs where I was in school. And I was in the 13th precinct police station, where they recruit all the cops and train them. So we were right there, and couldn't get, and cell phones were like prehistoric back then. So nothing was working. Cell service was really, really bad that day. So we had to use the quarters. I called my mom's school, and I had to walk from 21st Street, 2nd Avenue, all the way to West 50th and 10th, which took me 2.5 to 3 hours. And that was in the mass of everybody evacuating buildings, high rises, important places of commerce were also evacuated. They shut down transportation right away. Everybody had to evacuate the train stations, ferry stopped, everything stopped. I got up to my mom's high school. My mom talked to the principal, and we got word, because it is a high school and a lot of kids do travel to different boroughs. The principal in that school at the time was like, what do I do with my kids if everything's shut down? I can't, what do I do? And finally we found out that the Staten Island Express buses were going to run. They just didn't know at what time they were going to be able to release into the other boroughs. So we got on the first bus to Staten Island. Didn't matter if it was going to North Shore or South Shore. We just got on a bus, and thankfully it wasn't one that got us close enough to the house. And my father was still alive. That day caused me some PTSD. That day, I had over 100 pounds, like not 100 pounds, but like very heavy equipment in my drawing stuff that we didn't leave anything. It was like the second class I had. We didn't leave anything in the building. So I had to lift and drag everything over. And once I got to my mom's high school and we got onto the bus, like nothing was open either to go get water or snacks and stuff. And I like accumulated like anxiety, like, okay, when's the next time we can go to the bathroom? I'm starving. I didn't eat all day. And what is it's just panic and chaos all over. And then the news feeds are coming in, then the radio stations are coming in. And then you finally get over the Verrazano Bridge to get the bird's eye view, because that's one of the bridge overlooks New York Harbor. You could see everything, and we saw everything. And we were devastated. I don't think there was a dry eye on that bus. Thankful to get home. And the next couple of weeks to months, going in the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel, which is the tunnel that's right next to, like, it leads from Brooklyn into Manhattan, and you're in downtown, getting off the ferry, same thing, military dogs. They were checking the under the bus with mirrors. We had military come on to check everybody to make sure there was no explosives. It was creepy and very scary. And I lived there for 4 years going to college. Meanwhile, all the missing persons flyers, like a milk carton, were all littered all over the city. Everywhere. No one should have to go through that. And it was one of those things that changed everybody, not just New Yorkers, everybody. It changed the humanity. Whether it, I'm going to say this, whether you find a conspiracy or not, it still happened. People died. At the crux of the whole entire thing, people died. And a lot of my friends lost family, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, parents, grandparents. I know a lot of people that every 9/11, my feed on Facebook is flooded with "we will never forget" with their family's photo. It breaks my heart. But their mission spirits, and that was their exit point. What's scarier? I did a TikTok earlier because I couldn't contain myself. Before I went out to go get snacks for the kids and some fidgets. I walked into the building today, and I am a lot older than most staff. It's like a mixed bag. Most of the teachers are very young, and I'm in like the midpoint. And I'm the only one from New York. And I'm the only one that witnessed it. And this morning, the principal wasn't there. It was the AP, and they forgot. And she goes, oh, hang on. I forgot something. And then she spoke about what happened on 9/11. That angered me. And not because I'm glad that she fixed herself. And I don't think she meant anything by it, honestly, because I don't expect people to. And she's an amazing person, don't get me wrong. I'm not upset with her. It's the concept here I want to get into. This morning, I get into my building a little earlier than when I have to clock in because I'm helping my teacher figure life out and being a nice person to do so. She has 2 children in the school that come and hang out before the day starts. And they asked me what was all of this about. And I said, well, I witnessed something that no one ever should have to witness that happened where I used to live. And this is in remembrance to all the things and the people and the heroes, the dogs, the whole SmackDown. This is a memorial for them. And every year I do a little something different to honor. And this year I'm doing ribbons. Oh. And then their mom talked about it a little bit with them. And what really made me upset is that these kids, they're 8 and they're in 2nd grade. I'm not expecting them to know social studies, but there is no semblance of we will never forget in the rest of the United States. And I would love people to let me know if their children that are in school, if you have school-age children, ask them, have they ever learned about 9/11? And I want people to understand, yeah, it's something that little kids should not really be exposed to because it is scary and it can cause some anxiety, but the kids that lived in New York City didn't have a choice. The kids that were in school that day that had to get evacuated from Stuyvesant High School, PS 234, and some others that were in close proximity to the towers falling, that was traumatizing for them. There's no reason why this shouldn't be a holiday. There's no reason that this is not being taught in schools. As much as I'm glad that there was a moment of silence, did it mean anything to anybody? Because it didn't affect them. But I know the one takeaway that can be extremely positive to anybody, and this is why I wanted to do this spiritual soul advice tonight, is that it brought humanity together in unity. If you could teach a child that when things do happen, that people come together, not based on your racial divide agenda narrative, everybody that day, whether you're Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, purple monster eater, not people eater, monster eater, cop, firefighter, EMS, transit workers, good people, all ran toward those buildings. There were people assisting people. I was one of them. Trust me, as I started walking up towards the Empire State Building and everybody's evacuating and no one's going, what happened? What happened? Oh, the Trade Center, and don't go anywhere near down there. Brooklyn Bridge is open. They opened up to walkers if you need to get into Brooklyn. Directing people like, don't go down that block. They're blocking everything. Like everybody that day had a role, unbeknownst to them, divinely inspired. It breaks my heart that that's not something that people talk about. When tragedy happens, extremely big tragedy like that happens, the world paused because the whole world was affected. New York is the melting pot of the world. And when that stuff does happen, no matter where it is. That day, everybody paused. And that day, more prayers, more unity came into the balance of, and that was, I think, one of the most pivotal points in timeline and the paradigm shifting for each and every one of us before 2012. That event, as fucked up and as horrible as that event was the pinnacle point of a humongous timeline shift. Whether you want to look at it as positive or negative because of why it happened, because of the underneath, behind the scenes shit that a lot of us know the truth about, put that on pause. What on a spiritual level did happen was that the world united for the first time in unity. And yeah, not everybody was happy. You know, some people are happy and celebrating these things. Minus them, collectively, the world came together and cried that day or felt something that day. People from all different types of states were running up to New York to see how they can help. This is the unity that is needed on a grander scale now. It shouldn't take a catastrophe, an attack. Regardless if it was our government or not, it doesn't matter. People died and people were affected. How do we come together in unity without having a major catastrophe happen? And this is a question and test that we're posed with today. I survived Hurricane Sandy. I know a lot of people that died. Once again, Staten Island got hit really hard with a lot of deaths and a lot of destruction. The same could be said to any community that got hit by a tornado and it got wiped off the map, a hurricane, which one is happening right now. We all come together in tragedy, in loss, in destruction. Why can't we do it when we're in peace? Because your life is more important than someone else's? Because you're going about your everyday life like we all need to? We need to start getting this state of emotion, this state of unity, coming together. Stop pointing fingers. That day, let me tell you something. No one asked me my last name. No one cared. No one cared that you were wearing a hijab. No one cared what color you were. If you looked like you were in distress, somebody was there to help you. There was no racism that day. There was a lot of diversity, and there's a lot of people helping other people, human beings helping human beings. That's what it should be always, and has not been portrayed in this lifetime. No one cared that an Arab walked in and helped a Jew. Vice versa. People were helping humans. Humans were helping humans. And even galactics incarnated in human bodies were helping. Guys, that day, that moment in time, forever changed my life. The perception of, and not that I lived in fear, because I knew my time was my time, but I said an extra prayer and I put a bubble around my express bus every time it went under that tunnel. Every time I walked onto that Staten Island ferry, I would pray that it would be safe from anything. And we used to have Coast Guard armored boats back and forth in the New York Harbor for years after 9/11. A lot of things have changed. But the one thing that did help us shift into a better timeline and more of a unity consciousness timeline was the moment after everything fell. And people were being photographed in despair. You saw the best in people that day, not the worst, the best. You saw a whole city come and run down Tunnel to Towers today. My girl, Dina Della Regione, used to dance with her. She's one of the attorneys on the Stephen Stiller Foundation, and she does incredible work. And I love her, girl. I love you, girl. She did the walk in the tunnel. Shouldn't have to take an event like that to unify. That day, everybody put down their political differences. You weren't asking people before you helped them if they were a Republican or a Democrat. You didn't ask someone if they were gay or straight. You didn't care if that guy looked like a tranny. It didn't fucking matter. You helped. You're human. Doesn't matter. Why do you make it matter? Yeah, there's agendas and there's things being steered. I get it. But we got to, at some point, stop feeding that energy, because it won't fester anymore in your reality. If you keep feeding it, it's going to continue. That day forever changed the landscape, too, of what our paradigm is. So just be, if you were around at that time, be very proud. And if that's one positive takeaway that we can instill on kids, yeah, that was a tragic thing that happened that day. We were attacked in the United States. But you know what happened? Those people came together, and it didn't matter what they looked like. It didn't matter what they were affiliated with. People were human, and people were saving humans. There's no reason why a moment of silence shouldn't have been done at every school across the nation in the United States. I'm very curious what children are learning about 9/11. I think it's very important. Whether the facts are right or wrong, it doesn't matter. Things will get straightened out when it gets straightened out. But what's important is that that's a part of our history, and that is being semi-forgotten. Time in this linear continuum sucks, because time does not heal wounds like it should. Time is an illusion. If we can go back in our linear time space and change things, would we on a spiritual level hit that point of unity? No. This is where we need to stand up and teach the kids unity. If not, own it for your own self. Because I could tell you right now, if you see somebody on the side of the road that just had a car accident, are you going to worry about if they're wearing a bra and they're a man? Are you going to do the right thing as a human being? Are you going to worry that person's a different color from you or speaks another language from you? No, you're going to do the right thing as a human fucking being, not worrying about any of that stuff. Are you going to ask somebody the last name? Because I bet you someone asked me my last name, it's very one-sided. Everybody wants me in the wood chipper kind of thing. Why do you hate so much? And would you be somebody that stood back and did shit because you have a hatred for your other self? I hope not. But it's something to really think about. You don't know what a person's been through, and you don't know until they tell you and communicate it with you. But in the face of a tragedy, in the face of something in a catastrophic kind of way, are you going to sit by, or are you going to do something about it? If you physically can, even if you can't. Well, what can I do? Well, I really couldn't go down there because I had to go get to my mother. But on the way, I helped and navigated people to safer places. Here, you don't want to go down that way. No, they're closing off Broadway. Only emergency personnel. You want to go down to Madison and you want to go up this way. The Brooklyn Bridge is open. You better get over there. You didn't care. It didn't matter that day. And it shouldn't matter in this lifetime. People are people, and they're going to do them. If that's what makes them happy, do you, boo. Why do we have to structure our hatred towards others? And yeah, there are people that do bad things, and that's God expressing itself in a negative way. Don't pay it attention, but you shouldn't hate it unless you're personally affected by it, and then that's a healing you need to solve and heal from. I know, crazy, right? Bananas and pajamas. As we reflect today for 9/11, from at least myself, cards, because as we are trying to get to unity, hi guys, hi. As we're trying to get into unity, as a lot of us are being called to action, putting action into motion, going to our highest passion, there's still so many people now just awakening, now just coming, snapping out of the program, the narrative, they're seeing finally the light. And again, there's going to be a lot of people that don't. This is a long whole process. We chose the long process. All of us in humanity chose the long route. Why? Because if things were to go quickly, energetically, we would all be burnt out by now. And a lot of us are burnt out. That's not a joke. It's truth. But our bodies, physical vehicle, wouldn't be able to maintain or handle the frequency if it was going to be done in a snap. We would all humanly combust. I know for myself, a lot of flickering of lights have been happening again. I'm electrocuting myself from phone chargers, nonetheless. Even my laptop, I put my hand on it and I'm getting shocked. So I'm running a lot of frequency and a lot of high frequency. I try to ground as much as I possibly can, but it's getting a little harder when I'm like fried at the end of the day. Like it took me about an hour to be able to go back out because my legs and my feet were on fire, and I felt the electricity coming out of me. So I walked outside on my grass with the crunchy leaves, just to get myself back on task. We also have a full moon incoming with an eclipse. So lots of portals, lots of high energy. Time is going quicker. Time is flying, even though it is illusion. In our perception of third, fourth density, time-space continuum, things are speeding up. The days are going by quick. I know for me, it's a snap. and I'm back at it the next day. Like, I don't feel like I have time for anything. I'm like the Energizer Bunny that needs a lot of caffeine, sadly. And I've been drinking lots of water during my day. It's just you never have time to go to the bathroom when you're working in a school. We have inner voice. Tune in to your inner compass. Persistent words and feelings that represent your greatest desires are dropping into your mind. Instead of putting life off until you do or be something in the future, bring your desires into the present. Anytime we feel like we have gone off track, we have traveled a different road to our soul. And everything becomes a signpost to return us to our center, where we can tune into our wise transmissions. Just as the voice on a GPS navigator tells you which way to go, your soul wisdom is always leading you towards your destination. I say this a lot, go within. When you are in the present moment, you're not thinking too far into the future, or you're not thinking too far into your past. And again, time is simultaneously happening in all dimensional spaces, densities right now. Our brains cannot perceive such things. So we give definitions to future and past, mind you. Going within and listening to your own compass, your intuition, your heart, seeing the outwardly signs that your higher self and your entities and your guides and whatever your other fractals are doing to help guide you, they're sending you messages all the time. Are you perceiving them? If you're feeling overwhelmed right now, if you are just in it to win it, you're just surviving, take conscious breaths throughout your day. I do this at my lunch break. It's a very tiny lunch break, a little window of time to get back and realign with yourself. Go within and tune in to yourself. Create space. Look how bright that light is. Make room for your dreams. Create a space for new desires by learning how to be happy now. We all want certain things in our life to change, and it is up to each of us to do something about it. If you apply action from a position of truly wanting change, you will create evidence of that desire as manifestations of change. Once you notice something you would like to change, take a breath and say, thank you. Do this and you will begin to receive direction and wisdom. Create this space by coming into balance, meditating, focusing on the moment, or thinking of a person, animal, place, or situation that makes you smile. Feel the smile stretch through your body and relax, knowing that all you desire is on its way. You have empowered your whole being because you don't need conditions to change to feel joyous in the present moment. This is exactly what Bashar says about experiencing in the present moment your highest desires, your passions, feeling it, getting to that state of happy joy. That's the same thing. This card is saying the same thing Bashar says. It's just different wording. Why? Because when you have the feeling of joy and happiness, when you get to your highest excitement, you're passionate. You're in that state Your body is frequenting the energy coming out into your field, and it's attracting what you desire. Now, here's the thing though. Yeah. Throw you for a loop. You cannot infringe on someone's free will or soul contract. So if you're desiring something specific, whether it be a person, place, or thing that's too defined and too specific, you can't infringe on their contracts or their free will. If things are meant to happen for you with another person, they will happen. If not, it's not going to happen because that's not what you wrote in your story. Your contract, you could call it a story, an agreement, a contract, whatever it is you would like to define it. This is something that a lot of people have a problem and trouble overcoming. Like, I know that I had a contract with Viking. I was the person to put him on his path of healing through extreme pain and trauma. He put me on a path of the dark night of the soul because I needed to realize a couple of things that I was not naive, but unconsciously aware that was happening. Cycles that I was repeating that I didn't see pop up in the middle of the relationship, but towards the end, oh, I saw that shit and I had to put an end to it. And I'm sad that's almost done. It's really good. We all serve a purpose for each other, but I can't force him to stay in something. I can't force myself to stay in something that does not work. Will it work again in the future? I hope so. He is still not done with my contract with him. Not done. And this actually had occurred and is still occurring, unfortunately, with my ex, whose happy birthday, RJ. His birthday's today. That's the ex from a long time ago, the narcissistic empathic relationship. I knew back then, not as spiritually advanced as I am now, that I had to put him on his path. And now, after so many years, he is finally realizing that. And I coach him in, hey, dude, guess what? You treated me like shit. Now, what are you going to do for the next girl? I hopefully not treat her like shit. Why do you keep getting, like, I give him, based off of our old relationship, I do this tug of war with him to make him realize, well, why didn't that work out with that girl? What did you repeat? What did you learn from me being in your life? Aha. And I don't take it personally. I stopped. Once I realized we contracted each other to rip each other apart, I don't have any personal like angst against him anymore. I don't hate him anymore. And I don't necessarily, I don't love him anymore like that romantically, but I've tried to propel him in a position of, hey, wake the fuck up. You're definitely karmic and you're definitely a soulmate. Hi. Stop, because you're not happy. So I like to put people on their paths. You cannot force another person to be with you. You cannot, you can desire it, you can have a fantasy about it, but if it's not in your contract, it ain't gonna happen. And that's not to say that it's not happening in another multiversal plane of existence, a density, a dimension that you have that possibility, potentiality with that other person, or whatever it is that you are desiring that is so specific. It's a person, it's like a specific animal. Let's say I wanted cats and the one that I wanted didn't come into my purview, but then I got two amazing cow kitties that bring me so much joy and happiness. I wasn't really specific, like I was dead set on wanting that one, but that wasn't divinely orchestrated. It was these two that were. Everything has a purpose and a reasoning for happening. And if you allow the universe to allow it to happen in its divine timing, it might not happen in this dimensional space. It might happen in another one. But if you're here conscious now, you cannot infringe on someone else's free will. Okay, you can't put a pew pew to someone's head and say, you gotta love me, or you gotta like me. You can't do that. That's where the crazy people in this world come in and do horrible, heinous things. If it's meant to happen, it will happen. If it's not meant to happen, it's because that's not what you wrote in your storyline for that timeline or that plane of existence. You could be specific, but don't put an entity on it, a personality on it. Traits that you might like in something like a house. So I want, for me, I said, I need enough room to be able to be spread out. I need to have an office. I want to have 2 showers in my house, and the one down here is tiny, but I like to have 2 bathrooms. I like, if someone's using it, I can go downstairs to use that one. Like I have very quirky things that I need to have when I'm investing my money into something. I wanted a huge backyard to put a garden in. But I wasn't specific. It didn't need to be a brand new house. It didn't need to be a 1920 house. I got a 1959 house. Um, I didn't have a house in mind. I didn't pick the one on this block. It didn't have to be specific numbers. I just said I needed a ready move-in house or close enough to being moved in house. Doesn't need to be perfect. I didn't pick out an address to say that's the one I want, because that doesn't ever work out in at least my estimation. Okay. The same thing with animals and people. Have what you want in your desire, in what you feel passionate about in a person. Like, I like that person's character. Well, I'm going to look for somebody that has very similar qualities in that personality. I like that person because they have these belief systems. So you're going to find somebody that has those belief systems. I want somebody closer in my age group. So you're going to look for somebody in your age group. Whatever the details are, but you're not defining it to a person. Because up there he is, Mr. Odin. You can't infringe on someone's free will or their contract unless you wrote your story with theirs. And once again, it doesn't necessarily mean that it won't happen in another part of time space. And like, he's just like, hey, what's up, guys? Intuition. The energy of intuition supports our ability to conceive the subtle language of the realms beyond the third dimensional reality. Odin approves. He meowed. 6th chakra. I was just talking about that the other reading. The energy of the third eye chakra supports our inner sight and intuitive abilities. So the last 4 cards, Spirit is working through me, my higher self. Tap into your own intuition. Go into your heart space. Know what's right for you. Don't be so attached to outcomes, because that was Freya. When we manifest, it's already there. It has to come and drop into the material world. That takes time. Like, I need a car. My car is not good. Like, I need fidgets. So my life is easier My life is easier going to work. I'm not wrestling children all day because they're throwing tantrums because their body is too overly stimulated. And trust me, the kids really love when I hang on to them and hold them and work with them. Because a lot of it, we don't have the OT PT equipment. So I like to I lay them down and I rock them in my arms, or I sit them in my lap and we're rocking back and forth because that soothes them. I have a tough job, but those are the kids I need to be with. Those are the kids I need to reach. Those are the kids I'm helping energetically. It might not be seen in the physical, but energetically wise, I'm helping them. Spirit is bringing it, guys. Oh, shit. Oh my God. The further gate, bold step forward. It's up to you when you take your step into the unknown, because we're all going into the unknown because this is all an experiment. We haven't done this before. And when you relinquish your control to the universe and let it just flow and be the flow, when you step past the entrance of that gate, using your intuition, tapping into your inner voice and just doing it, going for it, you take that bold step forward and your whole life is going to change. And I know for myself, even though my job is very stressful, it does not make enough money, I'm happy. Yeah, I'm complaining because, of course, not every school system is perfect. Things are very difficult financially, and a lot of this stuff costs money, even if it's cheap and junky stuff, because kids ruin everything. At the end of the day, $5 goes a far way when a kid is having a tantrum and it's upsetting 7 other kids, and what? And you give them something to calm themselves down, it calms the whole room down. So as much as I'm trying not to complain, trying to make the best out of a shit situation, it's my mission for the moment. But all of us have to go through some of this stuff. It sucks, but tap in here. Stars in the sky, limitless possibility. All these cards, look how amazing this card is asking you to connect to source and yourself and really start diving into that. You're needed now, not back then, not in the future, now. When you put your mind to something, you will have that luck of having things starting to manifest a little quicker. Time is speeding up. Our linear time space is speeding up. So if you are contracted to have something, it's going to manifest a lot quicker than, for me, waiting for something the last 10 years to manifest. Or even last year, I was like, when am I getting a job? I've been putting applications in like an animal and I'm not hearing back from anything. Well, because this one was divinely orchestrated for me. Am I happy with the pay? Absolutely not. I don't even know what my paycheck looks like. I will know in 2 days. But it's scary. It's scary. Spirit's bringing it, guys. Like bringing it, bringing it. All right. Right now, we're at the stage of building, putting the blocks together to make the bigger picture happen. Each of us are bringing a different block. You could put puzzle piece. I like the puzzle piece analogy, but we're all building our own little building blocks, putting everything together right now. We're putting the energy together. We're putting the work on ourselves to contribute to humanity. We're putting the blocks together. In this time, we need to be flexible because we still are contending with time, space, and duality polarity. So you still have the element of evil that you have to deal with. Even in fourth, you have to deal with the polarity. It doesn't ever go away. It just shifts and things are defined differently in higher densities. We have to be flexible with ourselves and what is going on in the world. I'm being flexible and saying, well, I need another job, but in the moment, I have to do what I'm doing. We got happy, happy, and blessed. Are you happy? You're blessed. Things are going to transpire for each and every one of us, and we have to find the highest excitement to be happy and to be blessed. And blessed doesn't necessarily mean having $1 million and a yacht in the backyard. Blessed just means you're getting what you need out of what your desires are, and your dreams are coming to fruition. And don't have expectations what they look like or how they come to you, because I leave it all to fate. Me moving, me getting into my house, fate. Have the courage to be free. Know that freedom begins where desire ends. I don't make this up. Follow the path of your soul. Do not allow anyone or anything to stop you. Follow your vision. Never lose sight of what is really important. And that, the last couple of cards, guys, write down, what is your vision? What do you want to do in your life? Doesn't matter what age you're at. You can always make a change and make a difference in your vision of what you want. How do you want your last days to be if you're on the older side? Tomorrow is never promised to anybody. 9/11 and a lot of other events have taught us that. So are you living your best every moment of every day? And if not, how can you make that vision possible? What is important to you? Rise above the dark days of life. Do not fight them, but have faith that the light will always return. Those dark days and those dark times, like I'm in them now, always gives me the biggest and the most challenging lessons to learn. But when I learn them, I appreciate them. because I needed them. They aided me in seeing something from a different perspective or a different outlook. We always have dark days. They always cycle around at some point in your life. You grow exponentially from those experiences. I'm gonna read this card first. I never really pull from this one particular deck, but I got called. Don't hold a grudge. It's not worth wasting your time and energies holding it against somebody for too long. Things just come and go. Lesson learned. From what we have in the end of the day is mutual love and empathy. Do you? Angel number 33. This is a sign of a highly vibrating transformation. You now have the courage to work out your creativity and self-expression with no doubts. Be considerate. You might be missing out something. That doesn't make sense. Go through your plan again and give it a check to make sure things are working perfectly. Have consideration for your fellow man. I mean, everything here is telling us that we are headed towards really good times, that what we have to focus right now and harness our energies collectively for things to spring into what we want, what we don't want, what we prefer, what we don't prefer. And these are going to continuously come up until we all make actual like consensus on a humanitarian scale of what we do not prefer and what we prefer. And those choices are happening right now. Linda Good McGillis is saying always about the train station, like right now you can get off at stations and have different experiences, but eventually you're going to have to stay on one side of the track on that one train or the other. And your stops are going to be very limited to where you're able to get off. You're not ever going to not be where you're supposed to be. Your soul is going to guide you to where you need to be. But as you are consciously going within and doing the work, you are not going to want to get off at all those stops and just glare at the ticker where you can go, your destination, because you already know you're going to be on that one set train and it's going to take you to your destination. You're not worried about all the stops and where it's going to lead because you know where you're going. Right now, we get off so we know what we want and what we don't want. And this is the outside world playing back at us all scenarios so that we can choose as a humanity what we want and what we don't. And for many of us, yes, we create our own reality. So we can choose not what we prefer, but on a humanitarian scale, we're all still choosing. We're all still getting off the train because everybody's at different frequencies and vibratory states. So start tracking where you're getting off and what you prefer and what you don't prefer, because there's going to be a time where that train doesn't stop at that station anymore. And you need to be aware of what stop that is and what station that's at. New Yorkers, and I'm sure other people that have massive train stations in your area, oh, you know where not to get the fuck off. Smith and Ninth, Brooklyn F train. I'm just saying. Sit in silence for a moment and listen. The answers you have been seeking are finally coming to you. Truly trust and believe that you are going to make it and be exactly where you need to be. We are on this journey with you. Hang in there. It's not much longer. I needed to hear that today. We see that you are on the brink of a breakthrough that you have patiently been waiting for. A situation is about to come full circle. The lessons have been learned. This is a win-win situation for you. Trust that we are working behind the scenes to ensure the best outcome for you. Focus your mindset on what you can control instead of what you can't. The world is your oyster. Elevate your thought patterns so that you can attract abundance into your life. You are what you believe. Your thoughts become things. Your thoughts become things. Hi. And to close off this reading, Beth Cole. Looks demonic, but it's not. Eschew complicated explanations as you seek the simplicity of the deepest truth of your heart. Gently but firm, cast aside that which does not resonate as being true for your heart. Hi, I say this every day. Focus upon and speak from a higher spiritual perspective. All prayers are answered at the perfect time and in the perfect way. You have a powerful voice which can foster healing and wisdom on our planet. She's an angel known as the divine oracle, the daughter of the divine voice, the pure and true sound of spirit. When she whispers to your heart, you feel it as an inner knowing, a truth. To honor that inner knowing that goes back to the first card likely requires a confrontation of fear or moving in unexpected directions. Even so, the deep resonance of her truth is more powerful than the resistance we may initially feel as we let go of our limited perceptions and perspectives and allow ourselves to be guided by spirit. When she appears in a reading, an inner spiritual call may require a leap of faith. A more authentic, awakened you is coming to life. Paving the way for the higher self to manifest typically means that fear and control-based approaches needs to be surrendered. Beth Cole's presence indicates something more appropriate and vital needs to supersede the limiting structures currently in place. As a consequence, she's a portent of spiritual transformation and material manifestation. Honoring her guidance requires courage, but brings rich rewards on many levels. It indicates a voice that is true and needs to be acknowledged. This may be a voice in your own heart, which needs to be heard without judgment or censorship. It may be an intuitive knowing to be recognized. It may be a loving and helpful voice of a reliable guide or friend whom you know can be trusted. It may be a teaching from a dream or an insight from a meditation or an inkling that certain happenings or sightings are signs from the universe to help you on your life path. Beth Cole is a clear voice of communication between humanity and higher beings. When called upon, she will assist a human to accurately interpret a sign or an omen. This oracle also encourages you to practice your power of discernment. Filter ego from heart. That's a big one that a lot of people have a hard time with. If a point of view lowers your vibration, makes you feel negatively about yourself or another, increases your confusion, or makes matters seem more complicated, it is likely to be an ego-driven viewpoint. To consider what you might be able to learn from that viewpoint, you need to settle yourself on more authentic spiritual ground. Everything I've been saying for so long and in all the episodes I have probably ever done. Go within. And if you're new, hi, don't worry. You're where you're supposed to be, and you found me for a reason, and thank you. That spirit, high self, it brought it today. Always brings it, but listen to your heart, not your ego. When you connect all three, your heart is in utter alignment, and you're walking your authentic truth. You're walking your walk. You're talking your talk. Your words have meaning and weight. They're not lackluster words. You're not walking around in bad frequency. You are exploding in high vibing, pure vibes. The world is going to test you. The world is going to throw you some shit. They're all just tests. When you see it, like I'm being tested heavily, and I'm always heavily tested, but that's okay because I see it when it appears, and I'm in the moment, and I analyze it, and I look at it, and I say, okay, how can I make this situation better? I don't prefer this. What can I make a change to make this better? For me today was, oh, we ran out of snacks in the classroom, and I doubt the teacher is going to bring them tomorrow. So I'm going to go to the store and buy them just to make sure. Never enough snacks. So that I don't have to sit on the floor rocking a kid for 45 minutes because they didn't get the snack. Make my life easier. Fidgets. I have kids that need to continuously be given shit because that's the world we live in. Oh, sorry, guys. That was unexpected. I usually pause at those things. So for $3.25, this thing can calm a child down from having an episode of a whole crying and screaming fit. They're going to get it. Because instant gratification is not a tablet, and it doesn't teach you something, but this can help some child ease itself. I'm going to do it. What are you doing today to better your life, yourself? Are you going within? Are you grounding? What are you doing? Make sure you're doing something worthwhile. And I got kitties meowing. I don't know if you can hear that. But once again, never forget. Never forget 9/11. That's a big learning curve for a lot of people. It's the start of a big awakening for many, especially going down the rabbit hole. But on the surface level of things, people still died. People are still missing their loved ones. A lot of things happened that day that shouldn't have never happened, but they did for a reason, and it set the course in a different direction for humanity. Are you steering the narrative? I hope not. Steer your own. Steer into your heart space to know what is driving you, what you want to bring forth into your future and humanity's. As I cough, sending each and every one of you love, light, compassion, grace, shielding, and protective energy. Please go within. The cards are screaming it now more than ever. Do the work. Be the shoulder physically for someone. Someone might just need your shoulder to lean on. Some need you to listen. Some want it back and forth. Be the shoulder for somebody today. And listen, it doesn't need to be because I told you so moments. Be compassionate. Be the lighthouse. Seed your truths. And I want to thank everybody who's been helping me out financially. It's bad. That's why I'm asking for, if you are somebody that has a child that outgrew their fidgets and you still have them and you would like to donate them to me, whether it's stuff like this or lights like this lights up. And they have a ton with the different things like the lava lamps, the small ones. My classroom needs sand timers because kids don't know how to share just yet. This is I'm in pre-K. I'm in special ed. Anything that you have that's a fidgety thing or something they could squeeze, different fabrics, because some of them like to feel different things. Please send them my way. Anything can help, and if it's something you can recycle and donate, great. I'm not looking for new. I'm thankful for whatever I get, but if you have, you want to recycle and you don't want to put it in the trash, I could take it. Especially those of you in the autistic community or people that have delays, children that have any of these things, and you outgrown them and you still have stuff, please just donate it here. And I'd be thankful for that. So thank you guys for your support. I'm very blessed to have the following that I do. I hope in times to come I grows. I'm trying to get more readings out. The last few days physically for me has been difficult. When I'm getting home and lifting kids up all day, I'm just wiped out. So I'm figuring out today's a rough day, but this had to get done. So I'm just going with the flow. So thank you guys for going the flow with me, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.